This episode of Walt Disney World Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And if you've got a trip planned for Walt Disney World, or better yet, you want to go to Walt Disney World but don't want to have to do all the little work, all the little things you have to do to plan a trip to Walt Disney World, like calling Disney to book a resort, then calling someone else to make dining reservations and car rental and all this other stuff that you have to do. Who's got time for that? I don't. But you can take advantage of a great service called MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and they'll book your next trip to Walt Disney World for you. Give them a try. Go to www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, August 13th, 2008, and this is episode 448 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hodgberg from StudioCentral.com. On the show today is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Outstanding. And also joining us is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Outstanding as well. And I'm so happy because it's Wednesday, and that means we're answering listener question shows. Listener question emails, rather. This is the show itself. And the first one is from Simon from the UK, who writes, "Esteemed gentlemen and Len." Okay. I have some questions that only the Fantastic Four, plus any special guests, I hope that it's Christina, can answer. Oh, sorry. Just you have to deal with it. I'm going to the world twice this year. Mid-September, nope, not for free dining, and December, and I'm a bit of a quandary about some things. First, I arrived December 29th, leaving on January 2nd. On New Year's Eve, but I'd like to get up early and go to the Magic Kingdom, and then leave to go to Epcot at about 11, and I'll be taking the monorail. Will I be able to get to Epcot at 11 to 12 on New Year's Eve? I have heard that it can shut its gates, but not sure at what time. I don't want to ride any of the rides. I don't enjoy queuing as it'll be busy. I am under no illusions about that. So do you recommend trying this?
I mean, if you're going to go to another park, then Epcot's the one to go to. So yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, then I would definitely think that's the one to do. Definitely.
Right, but I mean, is he going to be able to get in there? If he goes
I mean, it'd be difficult for Epcot to close. It'd be unusual for Epcot to close because of capacity that early. Now, 3 o'clock, would he be able to get in? No.
Yeah, that's a good point. Simon also wants to know, I've been to the world many times before, but however, never at Christmas. However, I am unsure what to do on the 30th.
Bells, so many bells, there go the bells. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't fancy a park too crowded. So what would you recommend for 2 adults? I was thinking about going to some of the hotels and viewing their Christmas decorations. Is that a good use of that day?
You know what you could do? Stay in the hotel. Did you see what we're saying? Where is he staying?
He'll be staying at Saratoga Springs. It's going to be a future.
There's nothing like going to a local Orlando grocery store, making your own homemade eggnog, heavy on the alcohol, sitting back and watching the traffic go by. Noel goes, like he's done it before. Yes, good times. So that's not bad. But if you were gonna walk around the hotels, I think the Grand Floridian, the Animal Kingdom Lodge, the Yacht and Beach Club. I don't know. Grand Floridian, the Yacht Club, and the Animal Kingdom Lodge are probably the big 3 for me for Christmas decorations.
I would probably plan on that day being like Simon's break day, where he kind of takes it easy, sleeps in, does all that stuff so that he can, rejuvenate for the other days. Because the advantage of going to Walt Disney World during the week of Christmas and New Year's is that the park hours are so long that, you can get a lot done. Well, at least you can spend a lot of time in the parks, let's put it that way. Yeah. Simon's last question is, I'll be staying at Saratoga Springs Christmas time. What's the best location to ask for so that I'll be guaranteed to get on the bus in the morning, especially New Year's Eve to the Magic Kingdom?
So good question. I just had that the other day. You definitely don't want to stay in the 9800 block because that's the last one. That's the last one to get picked up by the bus. And if I recall correctly, there are 5 or 6 bus stops at Saratoga Springs. Hold on a second. Let me just take a look real quick.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of them, and that's why there's 2 knocks really on Saratoga Springs. One is its poor bus service, and the other is its poor on-site dining. And that's why I like staying at Saratoga, but then again, whenever I stay there, I always have a rental car or my own car to ensure that I don't have to suffer with the bus transportation, because it can be, unfortunately, not that good.
Remember this last time, you guys actually beat me to the Magic Kingdom when I was taking Disney transportation.
Yeah, exactly. We had a test. Scope and I took cars, and Len took the bus, and we probably could have made it back and forth to Saratoga by the time Len got to
You guys actually made it to the TTC, and then across from the monorail. Anyway, to answer Simon's question, to get on the bus first, you would want to stay somewhere in the 4100 to 4436 block, which is the Springs, or 3501 to 3836, which is also the Springs. I think that's the first bus stop coming in, because it'll come down Broadway and stop right there by what's the name of the pool bar?
Oh, it's something Rocks.
On the Rocks, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's the first one. You want to avoid the 8,000 and the 9,000 block, because I think that's the last bus stop. That's the one that I was at.
Okay.
So if you want to guarantee yourself a seat, you get in 4100 to 4436. Now, the one thing I would say about those is you want to ask for a room if you're on the first floor. Don't ask for a room facing the lake, because the patios are right by walkways, and people walk by them in the morning. So if you're out there trying to enjoy a cup of coffee and read the newspaper in the morning, in your bathrobe, people will be walking by you, looking, stopping and staring. And if you're on the second floor, obviously that's not a problem.
Right.
But on the first floor, you don't want to do that.
Very good. Next email is from David Fun, who's, remember you guys, the magician at Magic Meets?
Oh, yeah, David, what's up?
And he writes, on a recent podcast, you mentioned about not wasting short weekend trips eating at full-service restaurants. I don't think this has been mentioned, nor do I know if it's still true, but years ago, my wife found out that the full-service restaurants will take reservations as close as 15 minutes before park closing. We did this one year for a last-minute trip in January, eating at Le Chef de France at 8:45 p.m. We were not rushed and had a fabulous meal, staying until about 10:30 p.m. Then leisurely made our way back to the front of the park, reveling in the beautiful emptiness of the park with all the lights on and the music playing. Go ahead.
We've done this before.
Yeah. Newell, you and I ate at Tokyo Dining, remember?
Oh, sure.
Right before Illuminations, which was great. And then, by the time we got out of there, the park was dead.
That was amazing, because we got there, I think, at 10 to 9. We were at the door at check-in, and we said, we're never going to get in time to see it. And like 2 minutes before Illumination started, they sat us. Not only did they see us, but they sat us by the window.
Yeah, they were trying to take our order. We're watching Illuminations. We're like, hum.
It was still great, though.
Pretty.
Yeah, exactly. David adds, the only downside for us was that we were staying at the Contemporary and walked up the Epcot monorail station just as the last train of the night was pulling away. We had to wait 45 minutes for a bus to come take us back to the Contemporary. Of course, if we had been driving, it wouldn't have been an issue, except that we drunk out our gourds.
We were drunk out our gourds.
Nice.
A situation not entirely unknown to those of us on WWE.
Exactly. Next email is from Van Tony. I guess that's their username. If that is, then hoorah. I've been wondering about the rise in prices for a while. Where is the breaking point? The big problem I have is that we go every year and ticket prices go up, food prices go up, everything goes up 8 to 10% or more per year. When I became an annual pass holder, lunch at the Crystal Palace was $15, and that was a good price. Now it's $22, give or take, and now I look at it and wondering if we can really afford it. My parents happen to own a vacation home in the area, which allows us to stay for free and cook our own meals, so we still go down. But our trip to All-Star Music in January proved that even with the annual pass discounts, we can no longer afford to take a week vacation on-site and buy most of our meals on-site. So we, as a young family, have actually passed the limit. The last 2 years, I've actually nearly not re-upped the annual pass. I really debated the cost versus the usage. It's really tough on young families who with all the costs, and that's really who it hits the most, I think, in terms of the stroller costs, the increased food costs. Because you and Eileen can say, okay, you know what, let's go off site and get something to eat or something like that. But it's harder with kids and everything.
Small. I mean, if your kid's under 5, I don't know that I would. It'd be difficult to stay off site. And I mean, knowing what I know about it, I mean, I understand that there are people who. That's the only option for a variety of reasons, and I totally understand that. I'm just saying, I mean, I totally empathize that's much more difficult to do then, because you've got to rent the car. It's a hassle. It's hot, and I mean, you want to, you're trying to do nice things for your family by bringing them to Disney World, but it's so darn expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I understand Disney has that whole $1,600 for a week for a family of 4 thing, but when all is said and done, that's more like $2,500, and that's a chunk of change, man. After taxes, it's a lot of money. That's
not for you, but for other people.
No, I mean not for because Bob's writing my check for me, but we kid, Mr. Schellinger. Yeah, no, we kid because we love. No, truly it is. I mean, it is a lot of money. No doubt about it.
Next email is from Scott in Mentor, Ohio, and I think this is a good email for Newell. Who writes, I was listening to episode 406 this evening and found it funny that you all made a reference to Gordon Lightfoot's song The Edmund Fitzgerald. Then, ironically, took an email from Paynesville, Ohio, which is right on the shore of Erie Lake, not far from my home, and not far from where the Edmund sunk. Kind of funny and random. Booty all for your crack on the Browns. Go Browns. Do they even have a team over there still?
Yeah, in fact, the Jets beat them in preseason the other night.
Oh, you mean a football team? Yeah. A professional football team?
Professional, yeah. Emphasis on that word.
It's
okay.
It's cute.
It's semi-pro.
It's cute.
It's cute.
I could say that now because Brett Favre's on our team.
All of a sudden, Newell is the biggest Jets fan in the world.
You wouldn't believe how many emails I got about that. I must have got about 30 emails about Brett Favre.
Well, Mike, you do walk around wearing green now all the time.
I got it on right now.
Next email is from Tracy Robinson, who writes, I wanted to make a comment regarding the show on guest fleecing. My husband and I are avid Walt Disney, the man, fans, that is. We have read every biography ever written and know more than most famous people ever should know about Walt Disney. What the Disney Corporation is doing right now would make Walt Disney turn over in his grave, or his ice bucket, if that be the case. We're talking
his cryogenic freezer.
Exactly. You're talking about a man who was adamant that he did not want to charge for parking because he wanted the parks to be accessible for all people. You're talking about a man who took every penny of profit and invested it right back into the park. He specifically designed the parks so that no economic demographic would be left out. Well, we can't afford to go 3 times a year like we used to. Even the Valley Resorts went from $79 a night to well over $100, and they're terrible. We no longer stay at Disney resorts because you aren't getting the value for your bucks. We've gone to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party for the last 5 years in a row, and every year the price has gone up significantly. I think the first year we went, it was around $20 or so per night. And all the extras, quote-unquote, have gone down. We've already registered for the Tower of Terror run, which, by the way, went from $60 to $100 this year with no additions or changes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be going to October this year. Where is Roy E. Disney's anger when you need it? Shame on you, Disney. Your founder would be disgusted.
The only problem with that is he almost bankrupted the whole company too with that theory
several times. But
yeah, I mean I agree with the philosophy, but I mean, that place would have closed down years ago if that would have kept true.
Yeah. Next email, more about Disney raising its costs, is from Sue Coppola. I just heard about your fleecing podcast, and boy oh boy are you correct in saying that Disney has gone way over the top. When times are good for the public in general, then price increases are okay. Certainly not hurtful, but today we're all fixated on the price of gas and bread. These new increases seem very mean, especially when Walt Disney World business is so good. Business is already down in Las Vegas. The same can happen in Walt Disney World too. Just because they have good hotel bookings for the balance of the year doesn't mean that the reservations can't be canceled. I always make my hotel reservation before I book the airfare, and if the airfare is too high, then the trip can be canceled. Or quite frankly, you can stay off premises. We stayed off premises for the first time in over 30 trips this past December because we didn't get an annual pass rate. The annual pass rates are getting as hard to get as those frequent flyer miles for a seat on the plane. As for the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, we've been several times. We may not do it this trip in December. Greediness never plays well with the public. Yeah, I mean, a lot of emails about the whole fleecing thing, and with the rising costs, everything. I mean, I can't blame people.
I think fleecing was a poor choice of words on our part. It's more of a cost of living increase, so to speak. Everything else is going up too. So I think fleecing was a bad choice of words for that episode.
Next email is from Dwayne in Florida, who writes, "Hi guys, love the show. Your banter has got me through a lot of tough miles while running. I just wish it was longer. I have a comment and a question. First, the comment. I wholeheartedly agree with your comments about Disney prices. They're getting crazy. Suffice to say, we have already scaled back our visits and only live 2.5 hours away. Actually, once they added an expiration date to the multi-day park hopper, we used ours up and haven't bought another ticket. We have quite a few days left. Anyway, along with the other increases, did you see the increases in the race prices? The new Expedition Everest Challenge is $100 for a 5K race with a couple of hours of parking admissions with 3 rides open.
It's $30 a mile. My God, it's not even a cab ride. I mean, a cab is less expensive than that.
Yeah. Tower of Terror,
that's a lot.
Yeah, the Tower of Terror race, it is now $85 for the race and $30 for a guest ticket to the park for really about 3 hours of limited park access. They increased the race by $20, which is 30%, and the tickets by $5 from last year.
But you remember, though, what happened? Remember last year, we all ran it, right? And the race and everything got started almost an hour later, so we ended up with an hour less in the park. And then Scopa was late. Scopa was late, finishing because he runs at the speed of Continental Drift, and so we ended up with 40 minutes. We rode one ride.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be cheering people on, especially at the party, you're not going to have a lot of time to actually to go on rides, and that's
Go on
really
rides, exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you have to follow Scopa again, because it's God.
Yeah, geez, he runs very slow. So Dwayne's question is: after all of this, my question to you guys is: what races do you do at Disney? Do you participate in any of the races through the year, or just a half marathon? Anyone going to jump on the marathon this year?
I'm actually doing I think Scopa's doing the half marathon. I don't know if he's doing it now, actually. Mangelo's doing the half marathon. I'm doing the full marathon. I might go down for the Tower of Terror race, or I might go down for the Tower race, because that's what, 8 point something miles.
Yeah,
That might,
5K.
I've got a half
13K.
marathon
13K,
2 weeks.
excuse me.
13K, yeah. I've got a half marathon a couple weeks before that, so it's not bad training. So I might head down for that. So yeah, I mean, throughout the day, I'm trying to I got a bike, so I'm gonna try and do the one of the simple triathlons next year. Mm-hmm. That's assuming that I can swim, which I can't, but
just bring your Len, just bring your floaties and you'll be all set.
I'll bring the water wings, exactly. What?
Exactly.
Big deal.
I'll be doing the Tower of Terror. I'll be going to the party for the Tower of Terror race.
Yeah, I was just saying, you're doing what?
But I'm doing that simply because it's at the studios and I feel obliged to go. If I wasn't running a site of that, I don't know if I would go this year, because I totally agree. The price increases have been really just quite large, especially at the Tower of Terror race.
And it's a lot of money but I mean, they're popular. That's the thing.
Yeah. Next email is from Dr. Don, who writes, I had written in a long time ago about how to save money if going to Walt Disney World and still getting a grocery stop. And for some reason, it didn't translate well onto the program. Nobody seemed to get it. So let me try this again. Here's the problem. Grocery stop on the way to Disney. If we take the free Magical Express bus, there's no stop. If we take a town car, there is a stop, but it'll cost us about $100 round trip. Solution. Rent as small a car as your group can deal with. Shake the proverbial trees for special deals such as those at mousesavers.com. Mm-hmm. We did this with Alamo, rented at the airport with a great discount, and dropped it at the Dolphin the next day. After stopping at Albertsons on the way to the resort for a 12-pack of soda and some late-night snackage. After dropping off the car, we took the walkway from the studios to meet the rest of our party. No muss, no fuss. Result? Maximum flexibility for your first 24 hours of Walt Disney World at a fraction of what it would cost to hire a town car for even a one-way trip. We paid about $36, didn't have to wait for anybody to show up, and didn't have to tip anybody.
That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to spend time returning your car.
Yeah,
obviously.
time renting the car, and then, I mean, you have to make sure that you can get back conveniently from where you're dropping the car off, but that's a good idea.
Right, at the Dolphin, it wouldn't be terrible, because you just walk over to a park or something, but... he has another tip also. At Animal Kingdom, if you're not one of the first 100 people in line for Kilimanjaro safaris, get a fast pass and walk over to the Pangani Trail first and see the exhibit with virtually nobody else there. When the first riders start to unload and noisy up the place, that's your cue to be among the first in the fast pass queue.
That's a good idea.
I like that tip. Next email is from Bernie, who writes, Hi, I'm Matt, Mike, and Len. This is Bernie from Maryland. Did you guys make it to the Animal Kingdom on Wednesday, May 14th? Your website says to meet us outside the Tusker House at 11:45 a.m. I wandered around there from 11:40 to 12:15, continuously going in circles like a buzzard, waiting for Disney security to question me, but never saw any of you guys.
No, our
Len,
plans
would you like
changed. It's my fault. Our plans changed. I ended up having to do a TV interview, and I couldn't go to the Animal Kingdom, and I don't know what you guys ended up doing, but our plans got changed because of the interview. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Well, very good. Hopefully next time.
Sorry, Bernie. Next time.
Yeah. Next email is from Mike from Missouri, who writes, Hi, guys. This question is specifically for Len. How does the new Simpsons ride at Universal Studios change the touring plans for the park? Should we do it first thing when the park opens? How does this affect the rest of the touring plan listed in the unofficial guide 2008? We're going to the first week soon, and so I don't know if you'll get to this in time for my trip, but it may help others plan for Universal Studios.
Ouch. First of all, I hope your trip went really well. So the question is about the Simpsons, right? Actually, I don't do the touring plans for Universal, but hold on, I have them right here for 2009. I don't do it for Universal because I have that tattoo of Mickey Mouse that prevents me from actually getting into the Universal parks.
Well, let me just say I've seen that tattoo, and I can't comment on its location, but he's got it.
Yeah.
If you give him enough tequila, though, you too can see that tattoo.
Nice, thanks. Hold on a second.
And you should have just lied about it. You could have told everyone that you have the touring plan. Sure, I do them. Because whoever does them is going to be on this show.
Let's see. Simpsons ride would be first thing. So, Simpsons, E.T. Adventure, Revenge of the Mummy, Men in Black, Alien Attack, Jaws, Disaster, Shrek 4D, Twister, Take a Break for Lunch, yada, yada, yada. So it ends up being first. Cool. I've heard the ride is pretty funny. That it's got humor for everyone.
Yeah, I actually do want to ride that, but I'll wait for a very, 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 very slow day. Next email is from Natalie Henley, who writes, Mongello, we're just listening to your podcast episode 311 on September 19, 2007. Trust me, this email did not come in right after that. This is not that old.
Right.
Liar.
And regarding listener feedback, someone had written asking if it was possible to use the luggage delivery by Disney to the room if you are renting a car. You said something along the lines of a person that owned the luggage must stay with the luggage on the bus. I recently returned from Disney on April 2008, and during that trip, we went to visit some relatives on the day of arrival. Having the luggage tags on the bags, we left them to Disney to deliver to the room. We arrived at 10 a.m. By 5 p.m., we had arrived at Pop Century. Checked in, and within 20 minutes of arrival of our room, our baggage was delivered. I will say that we were flying Southwest, but I do not think that would matter on the delivery of the luggage. On the converse, when leaving Pop Century to go back to the airport, I 100% agree that the person has to be with their baggage as they are the person to check the baggage in upon arrival at the airport. As always, great podcast.
So that's interesting. And I don't know what if the question that we originally got was around bringing your bags to Orlando or departing. I understand the departing part, but yeah, I guess Natalie's right. You don't have to.
Yeah, they may say you can't, but I mean, I wouldn't tell anyone to book their trip on this. But my theory is that whoever picks up the bags off the thing does not check names to who actually checked in. You know, they just see the tag and they grab.
Yeah, exactly. They just take the tax and grab. But you know what would be funny, though, is if you're renting your car and as you're leaving the Orlando airport, you see this big pile of luggage just getting blown up because it's people who didn't get on the bus. Oh, well. That'd be ironic. Anyway.
Very nice.
Hey, do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this is from Brett from Evanston, Illinois. It said, Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette. As much as you all love to visit Disney World, I suspect it isn't your only vacation destination. I think it'd be interesting to know everyone's favorite alternative travel destinations. As a token of appreciation for all you guys do for us listeners, I'm also sending knitted hats, technically called chuyos, from one of my favorite destinations and where I met my wife, Peru. And I'm actually holding the hats in my hand right now, and they are fabulous.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
Free
cool.
swag.
So
Free swag equals
swag.
email get read earlier.
Exactly. To get the ball rolling, I'll mention a few of my other favorite places. Gimmelwald, Switzerland. Amazing views of the Swiss Alps, more cows than people, great hiking, and did I mention amazing views? Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Nice beaches centrally located for many Mexican Riviera hotspots. Chichen Itza, Xel-Há, Xcaret, Cozumel, and Cancun. Fantastic diving, and they even have my favorite cuisine, Mexican. Go figure. So where else do you all like to go for alternate vacations?
There are places.
Mr. Newell. Yeah, really. There are other places people go?
I was going to say, where else is there to go? I like to spend a lot of my time up in the Lake George region of New York. And for the very first time next year, I'm going to, well, it's tentative, but I might be taking the Adventures by Disney trip out to Wyoming.
Ooh, somebody's been talking to Annette.
Yeah.
Wyoming's fun.
And the Quest for the West. I've never been there, so that's going to be a first for me.
Nothing says Mike Newell like Quest for the West.
Quest for the West.
I spent a nice week in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I wouldn't quite put it on my must-see list, but it was very nice out there, actually, Mike. So I think you'll enjoy the Southwest.
Did you make any left turns in Albuquerque? Or?
All I will say, I met actually one of our listeners out there, Sarah and her husband Mike, and they took me out to dinner. It was actually very nice. And all I have to say, Newell, is you have to have the green chili over there. Oh my god!
Oh yeah,
so good, so good.
Let's go.
But in terms of where I would go, I'm trying to think of some places that I love New York City. I think it's fantastic. There's always something to do over there.
If you can make it there, I hear you can make it anywhere.
Really?
Wait, I'm
That's what I hear.
I'm
Yeah,
writing that
I hear
down.
the neon lights are bright on Broadway too.
New York's great, and I'm trying to think somewhere beachy that I've enjoyed. I've been to Naples once. That was actually very nice. I'm trying, but not sure. Len, what about you?
I'll go anywhere. I mean, I will travel anywhere, anytime, as long as I have vacation time from work. I like Vegas. I've been to Seattle a few times and I've liked it. I've been to Canada a few times, Toronto and Montreal. I like it. I'll go anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't really care.
Montreal's a beautiful city.
You know what I haven't been on in a long time though, forever, is a road trip.
Road
You know,
trip?
just road trip. You know, just I mean, I guess with gas $4 a gallon, it's tough to do a road trip, but
Yeah.
I could rent a small car or something and go. I've driven actually Greensboro to Los Angeles before.
Wow.
Through Amarillo, Texas, and there's a place there called the Big Texan Steak Ranch, which was fabulous and a lot of fun. And then stopped off in Vegas for a few days. And it was actually the best family trip we ever had when I was still living at home. my parents and with my sisters and brother. Yeah, Vegas was fabulous. I like Vegas for like a day, maybe 2 days. After that, I get kind of bored. But yeah, a good road trip. I mean, I've driven back. I've driven Salt Lake City to Greensboro a few times. It's interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the thing that I've really picked up on recently is cruising, both Disney and non-Disney cruises, and it's my new favorite way to travel. Really, if I'm not going to Walt Disney World, because you just
by boat.
It's grand boat.
It's tough to get to Oklahoma.
Well, been there, done that. No, I mean, I just love cruises. It's fantastic. You just put all your stuff in your room there, and the boat brings you to different destinations every day. I love it. I don't think. What do you say, Newell? One more question that you get to pick.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, very quickly. Pass holder rate questions. Rain and attractions, or 11th hour Walt Disney World resort reservations.
Ooh, I know. Len wants that 11th hour question, so let's go.
Yeah, go with whatever you want. It's fine.
Go with the 11th hour.
All right. Next email is from Mickey Takic, who writes, "Hi Matt. Well, I always have brownies on the brain." Oh my gosh, she has the brownies on the brain thing. Speaking of swag, she sent me these a while ago, actually. But these.
Whoa! Wait! Somebody sent you brownies and you didn't give any of this?
If you ever had any of these, you would realize why you would never share them with anyone else. These are so good. It's browniesonthebrain.com.
So far somebody's bought you dinner, sent you brownies,
right,
and sent me hats. I knew I got into podcasting for a reason.
I paid for dinner, first of all, but the other stuff, yes, I did take for free. Anyway, Mickey writes, "While I always have brownies on the brain, I've had a baby on the brain for over a year now. I've taken an extended hiatus from my business since about a month before my son was born in October 2007. He's an adorable pudgeball named Isaac, or Isaac, like the submarines where I live like to say with a puzzled look on their faces. Being a parent is the best job and the most fun we've ever had. I'm not trying to push you into parenthood too soon. It took us 11 years of marriage to get around to it, and it really is wonderful." Newell, how long have you been married for?
16 years.
Oh, wow. All right, you got her beat. Never mind. Anyway, here's my question. I'm behind on your podcast since the birth of my son last fall, but I did listen to your last-minute trips episode from last December. What is the best way to snag a not insanely priced Walt Disney World room about 3 to 4 weeks out? What are my best options in addition to calling Walt Disney World Travel or using Travelex? Would I have a better chance looking at the Swan or Dolphin? But I would be looking for an early fall. Thanks so much for an entertaining and informative podcast. I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant, and listening to Walt Disney World today really helped pass the time during my twice-weekly non-stress tests. Last minute, Len, if there's anyone here who knows about that.
Last minute.
Best rate.
Best rate for room, you're calling a Disney specialist travel agent like MEI, Mouse Fan Travel.
Right.
I think that's the way to go. I mean, you could try Hotels.com. I don't, and the other sites. I don't think you get very good rates there. And I think within a certain number of days, they actually have to return the rooms back to Disney. Like, I don't think you could log in today for a room tomorrow on Expedia for Disney Resort. I'd be surprised if you could. I thought there was like a couple days back where they had to give them back.
Yeah, I mean the reality of it is that you have to also keep in mind that those, when you get off of like an Expedia or something like that, those are just rack rates. They're not giving you. There's no.
Yeah, you're not getting discounts. Right.
Yeah. Very good. Well, before we get going today, I wanted to mention also a very warm good luck to one of our listeners, Lisa, who's better known as Samby Cat at www.today.com. Hoorah! Who's going into surgery. She's a good friend of the show, and we certainly wish her the best and hope that she gets through easily and has a speedy recovery so that she can join us in Mouse Fest again.
And share some of her medication with us when she's done. That's right. Don't bogart all the pain pills, Lisa. Good luck.
That's right.
Exactly.
You better bounce back. Get it? Back?
Back.
Sorry, Lisa.
Good luck, bro.
Which one of us is drinking again? All right. Good luck.
That's it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of Walt Disney World Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, the official travel agency of WDW Today. Give them a try. Visit them at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, and visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell. Love you, Mike. I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.